Welcome everybody. This is Susan Robinson, owner and creator of Vintage Restore and More, located in Inman, South Carolina. I'd like to thank you for being here, for watching. I have a little kit put together with just a few of the items that, not everything that's necessary, but it's got like the transfer pad and also like the little wood cutout for the top of the project. Some of it you'll have to purchase like at Hobby Lobby, the liquid leaf, and also the canvas, which is like a 30 by 10 canvas. Let's see, if you have any questions, please reach out. I'd be happy to answer and help in any way that I can. And thank you so much for being here and watching. Don't forget to give us a like and a thumbs up, please. Okay, so moving on, this is the canvas that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. And we're using trimmings 2 and also olive crust molds for today. We're going to make out quite a few of these to go around the frame, and then we need 2 strips to separate them into 3 panels. We're using IOD air dry clay as well. And once we get them, the layout down, we're going to go ahead and glue those down and also do some miter cuts, cutting diagonal with a razor blade. Make sure you have a yardstick too, because it's really important that you get each panel the same size. So being a 30-inch, you're gonna center right at 10 inches and then at 20 inches, so it'll come out perfect. The only way to do that is with a ruler. You can try to eyeball it, but usually that doesn't work very good. So what I'm doing now is I'm doing the castings for the olive crust mold, and this is going to work on the little flourish on top. So once I make these up, I'm going to pull them out and I'm going to actually grab a board that I'm going to cut, and I'm going to place them on there, trace around it, then bring it downstairs to my workshop and cut them out with a jigsaw. Now that is the piece that it will be included in the kit. So this is where I'm tracing it out. And olive crust is such a good mold when you want to do these little borders on different projects. So here we're gluing it together. And we're going to kind of go through this quickly, but the one part that I did want to explain is we want to crisscross these sections on the corners, and then we're going to use either a razor, or I use a palette knife. No, I use a razor here. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting straight through both sides so that when I lift up, I'll take the one piece off and they will join perfectly like a miter cut. And that really gives it a nice professional finish. Alrighty, so we've got everything glued in place, I think, except for the center pieces. And this you want to make sure that you've got spot on. So make sure that you have a yardstick so you can measure, or a tape measure. I know this seems a little slow motion, but I really wanted you guys to see how important it is, this step, to get them on there straight and get them measured properly. So I'm taking a pencil and I'm drawing, so I've got an idea of where it goes back in. Alrighty, now we're getting the paint out. So I'm using two colors. I'm using a black and I'm using like a chocolate brown. And I am kind of going back and forth between the two, giving it a mottled look because I want it to look like it's been around for a while. And I also do kind of a cross hatch motion when I'm painting to give it more brush stroke, keep it visually interesting. So after that dries, I end up going back in and adding a little bit more of the mix, more of the brown in it to soften that up a little bit, as you see. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead, we're going to attach the little flourish that goes on top, and we're using an L bracket. We're going to pre-drill. We're going to actually take the bracket and we're going to mark it with a pencil where the holes go. Or you can just skip that and do it with just the drill. Forgot what I did. It was like a week ago I did this. And it's always easier to drill, use a drill bit first and then use like the screw tip on your drill. With the wood being so hard, sometimes it's hard just to go first with the screws. And now I'm marking with the pencil there onto the canvas. So pre-drilling the holes for the canvas. And now I'm going to get those screwed on. Alright, and I notice it's a little bit weebly, so I stick a little bit of clay in there to kind of solid it up. Alright, we're going back in with a little bit of glaze to give it a little more depth. And these layers really make a big difference. And now we're clear coating. We want to make sure we get that clear coat on so we can get those transfers done. And we want to leave this to cure overnight. I would leave it 24 hours, really. Alright, now it's time to figure out where we want those transfers to go. And I pretty much figured out which ones I wanted to use. I do end up trimming them down, obviously, so they'll fit, which wasn't really hard to figure out what to do with that. So I'm using the plaid liquid gold leaf. You want to make sure you mix it up good because the metal leaf actually kind of falls to the bottom. It's heavier, so give it a good mix and mix it in between as well. Look at the detail that brings out, though. It's beautiful. At this point, I feel like it's a little bit too shiny and too new looking, so I take some more of that General Finishes Van Dyke Brown, and I actually I use my hand as a plate and I start putting that onto just the liquid leaf part. And it's going to tone that down and give it some age. So just kind of wiping it on, and then I will come back and wipe it off. So we're going to fast forward here to get through this. You'll see what a difference this makes, really. And before you know it, we're on to the transfer part. And this is, I want to actually slow this down a little bit here. One of the things that you need to know, let's see here. You need to put something underneath this to carry a little bit of that stress that you're going to be putting on the canvas. So I've got a wood block underneath this project and I move it as I go along, but it gives you something that you're pressing onto and you're not just pressing onto the canvas, stretching it. So go slow, you know, make sure you're doing it. You're not pressing too hard. It might take a little bit longer, but it's definitely worth the wait. And then the next step that I do is I decide that I want to put one more low coat of glaze over top of it. I do burnish first though, which I don't think you see that in the video. So I go over it and just make sure the transfers are all down well with the white part of the transfer that you pull it back from. And I'm going over again with some Van Dyke glaze. And my thoughts are with this, I like to put the Van Dyke glaze actually underneath and over top of the transfer sometimes. You want to get it underneath because it'll help with any halos if you, especially on a lighter color. So you want to get that on first before the transfer, but it does give it a nice kind of a aged look when you put it over top as well. And I will go back and I will wipe back with a paper towel over the lighter areas to kind of bring those out. And I use the paper towel too to offload, not just to wipe back, but to offload my brush, so I'm pulling some of it off as well. And I think this is going to be about it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out. I'd be happy to answer any questions. We would love it if you'd visit us at vintagerestoremore.com. And there you'll find the DIY kit for this project. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, you'll see a little area that says products for IOD tutorials. You can click on there and you'll find the link to it. It's called Clementine DIY Kit. So anyway, we thank you so much. We hope to see you soon. Give us a follow, please, and subscribe. We'd like to keep on creating cool stuff. Bye-bye.